Hello, everyone. I did a refutation against the general education requirements. My opponent said that the general education requirements add an unnecessary amount of time and cost to students in college. The opponent's first secondary claim was that to finish the GE requirements, it takes a year and a half for a student in the quarter system and 2 years for a student in the semester system, and then they can start taking their core classes. And the opponent's second secondary claim was that at Cal Poly Pomona, the cost for a full-time student every quarter is $1,668.63. So to fulfill the general education requirements is too expensive. My response to my opponent's first secondary claim was that I challenged the evidence. The opponent didn't use any concrete evidence, and there were no credible sources. I also did a counterclaim for the first secondary claim. I said that the GE program is aimed to assist into higher learning so that a student may apply the gained knowledge in order to become a well-educated person. I pulled up information from the USC College of Letters, Arts, and Science and their take on the California General Education Program. They said that the GE program is structured to provide a coherent, integrated introduction to the breadth of knowledge in order to be considered a generally well-educated person and provides a basis for lifelong learning. It teaches students the skills needed for critical thinking, writing, and reading. It teaches skills in a specific context, such as social issues, science and society, cultures, and traditions. It also teaches students how to apply these skills so they can find, evaluate, and use the vast amount of information now available, such as the media, internet, new and traditional forms of technology. So the GE program is designed to help students in their knowledge or in their process of learning. So taking an English class would benefit someone writing an essay for a core class. I also responded to the opponent's secondary claim, was that the opponent uses good numbers and statistics to back his claim, but it is irrelevant because the numbers only apply to Cal Poly Pomona, whereas the general education requirements are for California as a state. I also said that that the claim is geared towards all students at Cal Poly, but the statistics are insignificant to the greater state of California. Also, the opponent uses the cost as a reason the GE requirements should not be used, but the cost is necessary because it is an investment towards one's future, and the college education is irreplaceable. So we should keep the G's.
All right, you've ID'd the topic and the secondary issues. You need to get to the class a little bit faster. I think your challenge on the first point is to the advocate's evidence or lack of evidence, but you don't really do anything to specify what was problematic with the inferences that the advocate was drawing, why they aren't generalizable, why the examples that he points to or just the vague conclusions that he makes are problematic. You do have a good counterclaim on the point, though, arguing for a need for GE requirements and an explanation about what those GE requirements are supposed to do and why there's an expectation for them. So I think you need to put that also in the context of what the advocate said and point out and contrast how the advocate failed to explain why these were unimportant, they are unnecessary, or they don't represent an advance, and then contrast the two a little bit more. All right, that was your clearest response. The label on the second point was pretty clear. You make a general argument about it, the numbers being limited to Cal Poly. I'm not sure why that was important in your bigger argument. The cost issue that you present at the end is an attempt to kind of diminish the impact of the whole argument overall, and I think that's not a bad argument, but you could probably use a little bit of evidence on it to support the notion that, for instance, in the long run, the return on investment for a for your GE classes is going to be higher in long-term income or job status or something like that. I don't think it would be hard to find some information that supported such a conclusion. And at the exit, your delivery kind of fails you. You need to have a more definitive way of expressing yourself. I think everybody hung on for 40 seconds thinking, well, is that it or not? And you need to make it clearer. All right, thank you.